Hi everyone, welcome to Torah on Demand. I'm Rabbi Yael Ridberg. Life is often understood as a great gift, but with it comes difficulties and separation from wholeness and holiness, even for the best of us. No one escapes this life unscathed by challenges, certainly no one who has lived through the last few years of the pandemic. And when we are confronted by the complex puzzle that is this life, we often must struggle toward a blessing and toward a sense of wholeness ourselves. The story of Jacob is an enduring example of a story that moves toward wholeness and transformation. In Parashat Vayishlach, 20 years have passed since Jacob ran away from having manipulated his brother, tricked his father, and was in turn manipulated by his father-in-law. He has lived with dissatisfaction and avoidance and resisted confrontation until now. In preparation for his meeting his estranged brother, Jacob first sends Esau gifts, ostensibly to mollify his projected fears that Esau still resents him for taking the birthright. Jacob's messengers in turn tell him that Esau is on his way to meet him with 400 men. So out of fear and caution, Jacob crosses the Yabok River, splits his family and livestock into two camps, and prays for protection. In the Hebrew, there is a very nice play on the words Yaakov, which means Jacob, Yabok, the name of the river, and Ye'avek, will wrestle. Jacob is indeed a wrestler at the boundary, worrying about meeting his brother, struggling perhaps with the events of his past. But then, in the middle of the night, a man, mysteriously unnamed, comes to wrestle with Jacob when he is alone, having crossed to the other side of the river. In his solitude, he is marked physically by this wrenching of the hip by the unnamed messenger, and is forever marked at the boundary. Marked because he is injured, and marked because his name is changed from Jacob to Yisrael. Ki sarita im Elohim ve'im anashim vatochal. Because, the wrestler says, you have striven with beings divine and human and have prevailed. His aloneness is intentional. We can understand this because often when we really need to bring wholeness to a fractured life or relationship, we feel we must do it alone and for ourselves. Jacob bears a number of internal scars that have likely bifurcated his soul, and perhaps the wrestling match is meant to fuse them, realign his character, bring him home to his true self. He calls the place of his transformative experience Peniel, the place where he experienced the intimacy of a human-divine encounter. When he meets Esau the next morning, he greets him with an embrace, a kiss, and tears. Esau arrives limping, a wrestler bearing the truth of his character. He's able to greet Esau with a newfound openness as he acknowledges that Esau's face is also the face of God. The riverbank is the resolution of Jacob's struggle with his brother, himself, and to find wholeness and holiness. The verse immediately following his reunion with Esau tells us that Jacob arrived shalem in the city of Shechem. He arrived whole, no longer a divided self, and though wounded, ready to face his future. May our own wrestling at the boundaries of life bring only abundant blessings. Shabbat shalom. See you next time. Thanks for joining me.